Well, there's one thing Studio White Fox can do is capture a moment, and that's what this episode did, and that's what, Goblin Slayer's been doing when it comes to these big hyped up moments. But I do gotta say, and I want to say this now, one thing that has been bothering me about Goblin Slayer quite a bit is actually it's recycling its content. It's goblins and an ogre, I thought it was going to be, but it was a goblin champion, which isn't dramatically different in appearance from an ogre, as we all could agree upon. I mean, we saw the champion, and we saw the ogre. They don't look drastically different, but it was a nice change of pace to get to see the champion, and that's something I just want to kind of say right now and make this statement. I want to see Goblin Slayer either find a different way to use the goblins and or find a better way to just use the recycled content and or antagonists, I should say, because it's gonna wear quick. This is not suited for a long story to me personally. Goblin Slayer to me personally is like suited for like 24 eps at most, or 36 eps, 3 seasons. It's just not. If it's going to focus on goblins, it's hard for us as a viewer to really stay engaged if the antagonist is the same thing every time. So, but I did like the atmosphere. I thought the show did a good job of capturing the atmosphere that it did this episode. But, speaking of capturing the atmosphere and so on and so forth, I do want to talk about how that voice popped into Goblin Slayer's head. Who is that? Who was that voice? And I think we actually get to see him looking through a tunnel, and there's a goblin at the top of the tunnel, whether it's a specific goblin that he knows and he's actually allies with. I mean, that could reference back to episode 1, whenever, our priestess makes a comment about, couldn't there be a good goblin out there? And he's like, maybe, but that would be extremely rare. So maybe he does know a good goblin. Maybe he does. So who was that voice taunting him about, you think you can slay goblins? You said you could slay them. Yeah, right. So that's something I want to know, I'm interested in as well. But moving on to the next thing, the scene to where, after all the fight has come to a conclusion, I liked how the priest got bit by that giant goblin champion. I liked the terror that the elephant girl was actually about to get assaulted by the goblins. I like to see how they were down and out. It felt more as if they were truly going to all perish right here than past events, past times. So whenever I actually look at the scene to where Goblin Slayer actually collapsed, and it's weird because I was thinking, it's like, man, I just collapsed if I was coughing up blood like that, and then he collapsed. And that scene was really well done, especially when the music dropped. But my only problem with that scene was I felt like they held the bird's eye view for about 30 seconds too long. That's definitely something I felt. I think it took away from the scene a little bit. But nonetheless, it was good. It's just too long. So there's nothing really wrong with the scene at all outside of this. The bird's eye view was held for about 30 seconds too long. But if I look at Goblin Slayer and I'm like, is he dead? No, I don't. I would not assume he is dead by no means, especially since the light novel is still ongoing and whatnot. And I don't think people are really going to get behind the priest being the new Goblin Slayer. I don't see her getting behind. I don't see the audience and viewership getting behind her. I just don't see that. I don't think she is not a interesting enough, deep enough character to do that as of right now. Whether she goes through some crazy character development and she gets some crazy characterization due to all this, I don't know. Maybe. I don't know. But that could be something. But as of right now, I just don't see it. I would have to see it to believe that they would go that route and actually make her a good character to do that. I'd have to see it to believe. Right now, I think Goblin Slayer would go down the crapper if they were to do that. But if they can, gotta see it to believe it. Like I said, I'm just saying that's my first impression of what would happen. But nonetheless, I don't think he's dead. He is the main character. It is a dark series, so it does leave you with that question. But there's just too many things to Goblin Slayer quite yet that we don't know. I mean, I'm pretty sure he had more scrolls on him. I'm pretty sure there's some other things that some more questions we don't really have answered. I mean, we never even got to see the guy's face. You know what I'm saying? So that's something that I'm really interested in seeing. I want to know who that voice is. That voice seemed like it carried a little bit more weight, unless he's just that's crazy, and with his obsession with goblins, and he's basically kind of putting a voice in his own head. So other than that, though, the priestess, the sword maiden, she's someone that was also assaulted by the goblins. So we see the scars, and she says they got me in the back of the head. So if she was truly assaulted, which it comes off as she most definitely was to the fullest, just like the other girl in episode 1, how did she get back on her feet? Because we know that people go to the temple and they don't ever leave the temple because they can never get over it. How did she get over it? What's her story? And she has a really anti-hero kind of personality. So I think a lot of people have probably caught on to that. You don't get a good omen whenever you see, whenever you hear her speak. You do not get a good impression of good is about to happen. You get an impression that she's hiding something, she's dark, and these problems may be her fault. I mean, you do not get good undertones from her, man. You get some pretty evil undertones. So I don't know what to think about that and or where that's going. But yeah, I mean, like I said, man, I don't know, man. I just get this really ominous feeling whenever I see her, and and she just is a symbol of a bad omen to me personally. So I don't know. What do you guys think about that? Definitely would love to know. So other than that, though, Goblin Slayer episode 7, pretty good stuff. I'm glad to see this. It's got me saying, yes, I want to review episode 8. The last 2 episodes prior to this were just there's just nothing there. Honestly, like in Goblin Slayer, when it goes for that slice of life kind of episode, I don't know, it just feels like it doesn't work for this show. I don't know what it is. It just feels like it doesn't work for this show personally. So I don't know. But as always, guys, you guys have been Hex. Be sure to leave a like, comment, subscribe. Phone to Rex 25. I'll see you guys next time. Peace. Thanks for watching, guys.